Hello, this will just be a short video. I've just seen something that gave me the idea to make this one. Years ago, I've talked about it in one of my other videos. It would have been in 92 or 93, I'm not sure. Whatever year the first series of The X-Files was on television. I woke up one night and I saw a UFO. I was in my bedroom, and it was like I couldn't hear it. It was weird. It was like this humming, but it was like it was inside my head almost. So I got out of bed. Actually, I tell a lie, I didn't get out of bed. I just sat up in bed. My bed was next to the window. And then it was like there was some kind of light outside. So I opened the curtains and I couldn't see it at first. But then after a few seconds, this thing flew past the window and it looked like an egg. You know, if you ever saw Mark and Mindy, it looked a little bit like his spaceship. And it definitely wasn't a helicopter, because helicopters make a lot of noise. And there was apart from this like sort of low hum, there was no noise at all. And it like caught, sort of like as far as I could see out the window towards the right hand side, I think it was. Then it disappeared, and then a few seconds later it came back again from the other side and went back across again, and it did this maybe 3 or 4 times, and there was no sound. Nobody was on the street. It was, I don't know what time it was because I'd been asleep. I don't know, middle of the night, I don't know. Everybody was asleep. My mum and a partner were asleep as well, and they stayed up late, so it must have been late, is all I can say. And then it just seemed to go away. So that was the first time. And then, I don't know, when I was a teenager, I always thought it'd be really cool if I could meet these things. Aliens, I mean. Because I liked watching the X-Files, and there might have been other things I can't really remember, like the Outer Limits as well, but I don't really think that had any effect on what I was thinking at the time. And I used to think about it all the time. You know, how great it would be if I could just meet the aliens, because I wasn't popular in school and stuff like that. Maybe that had something to do with it, I don't know. So maybe for like the next 2 or 3 years, I was just thinking, no, not even 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years at the most. I was thinking how great it would be if I could meet these things. And then anyway, one night I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't move. And it was almost like I knew somebody was in the room with me, but I couldn't see them. And then the next thing I knew, it was like I just blacked out. And then it happened again a couple of years later. Before that, one night when I was watching TV, I'd put the TV programme on. And then I don't know what happened. It was like something passed in front of my eyes, and the next thing I knew, the TV programme was going off. And this was something that would have been on for like maybe 45 minutes or something like that. So I can't explain that other than, you know, abduction type stuff. And then again, anyway, as I was saying, it happened. We moved house. It stopped happening, and then we moved house to the house with the picture that the face changed and everything. That's in one of my videos. There's a poster and the face changed. I'm not going into that now, though. That's where it happened anyway. I woke up, couldn't move, and like I felt this feeling of dread. So I closed my eyes, and the next thing I knew, it was like something. I didn't feel. It's not like I felt something grab me, but it was like I was in bed, and where the bottom of my bed was, where there was the wall, and it was like something just whipped me out of bed, but through the wall, and it was like, for a few seconds, I felt like I was going through a tunnel or something. And it was like, if you imagine you're lying on the stuff that a tent's made out of, I can't think, that plasticky type material, and you're like, something's been pulled across it, and like makes a whipping noise. It was like that, canvas, and then I was blacked out and didn't know anything. The next thing I knew, I sat up in bed, and my dog was on the bed with me, and I said, well, they've just been, haven't they? She didn't answer me, by the way, just so you know. She just looked at me, wagging her tail. And then it happened. It happened again, and then I don't know why it came up. And this is the bit that most of you are not going to. A lot of you will not believe me on, but I'm telling you, it's absolutely true. I have said this before, but I'm saying it again. I'm trying to say it more in a more concise way, so it makes sense. But this is definitely what happened. So, my mum had been having troubles with the ghost or whatever in the house, but at this point, I hadn't had any experiences with it, really, apart from that one time with the picture. I think that was in between. It's hard to remember. I get it all mixed up in my head when what happened. But anyway, it's besides the point. She told me that if it bothers you at night, say, help me, Jesus. Right? Now you're going to start turning it off now. I know some of you, but that's up to you. This is what happened. This is 100% true what happened. I was in my room, and it didn't usually happen like this either. It usually happened when I was asleep and I'd wake up and then it'd start happening. But I was in my room, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, or 11 or something like that, and I started, like, I forgot to mention, sometimes when this had happened, I'd think they were like whispering coming from somewhere, but I wouldn't know where it were coming from. Like, I'd wake up and not able to move and they'd be whispering in the room. But it was like it wasn't in the room, it was coming from somewhere else. So anyway, I was in my room doing whatever I was doing, because I can't remember what I was doing. And it was like, I started hearing this weird whispering, talking thing. And it was like, where the wall that I'd been pulled through, I almost thought like it was coming from there. So the bathroom was on the other side of that wall. Well, I knew there was nobody in the bathroom, because I was at home on my own this night. And then the lights in the, the ceiling light, it was almost like it started to go a little bit dimmer. Just a little bit. It wasn't that noticeable. I just started to become aware of that, and the whispering was going on. And I got this feeling of dread, like it was like something was coming. And I was like thinking, what should I do? What should I do? Is it happening again? I think it is. And it was starting to happen again. And then what my mum told me came into my head. On one hand, I was thinking, well, this isn't a ghost. Why is it going to make any difference? But then on the other hand, I thought, if I do it and it don't work, what have I lost? So I said it out loud, Jesus, please help me. And it was like somebody pulling a plug on the back of your TV and it just goes off. It stopped completely. The whole thing stopped. So you tell me, if these are aliens from another planet, on the other side of the universe, from Zeta Reticula, or wherever it is they say they're from, why would that stop them from coming? Because they were definitely coming. I know, you don't have to agree with me or believe me, that's up to you, but I know in my own mind they were definitely coming. Some things you just know, you don't need to be told, and I knew they were coming, and then they weren't. So can you explain to me why, like I just said, if these things are from Zeta Reticula or wherever, would saying that to them stop them? Because, and I'll tell you why, because they're not aliens from Zeta Reticula or the Pleiades or wherever, demonic entities. They've always been. They're just disguising themselves. And if you think about this as well, just as a side note, elves in the Middle Ages used to come and take people's children away, and sometimes they used to replace them with fake things, but that's besides the point. They used to come at night and take people. It's the same thing. They're just wearing a different mask. Now, obviously, it's hard enough to get the normal person in the street to agree with the existence of aliens, so it's going to be even harder to get somebody to agree with this, but I don't care, because I know I'm right. I've experienced it. I know what I experienced. At the same time, I don't expect anybody just to believe me because I'm saying it, but that's what happened. So what I'm wondering is, has anybody else ever had a similar experience to mine? And have you come to the same conclusions? I know Whitley Stieber said in an interview that he felt like when he'd been taken by these aliens, it's like they were hiding something from him and disguising themselves. And then he said that he came to the conclusion that these were actually the demons of the Middle Ages, and before, obviously. And looking like aliens is just a disguise. And Aleister Crowley said, and this was been like the late 1800s, we call them aliens today. Sorry, my mistake. We call them demons today, but in the future we'll have another name for them. And you look up what his spirit guide looked like, Lamb, because it looks suspiciously like a grey alien. But anyway, I've ranted enough now. I'm going to leave it there. But anybody that wants to leave any comments in the comment section and tell me what you think, I'll definitely reply to anybody that leaves me a comment. And or if you have any other thoughts on it, just leave any comments you want. It doesn't matter. And if you want to leave me a thumbs up, or if you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe, that's great too. But other than that, I'm going to leave it there now because we're at the 10-minute mark and I don't want to go any further than that at the moment. But if you've got this far, thanks for watching and bye for now.